Okay, it's time to talk about my favorite thing ever, and that is macros. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to track your macros, how I track yours and every client's and my own macros, and just kind of give you the rundown of the calculations used and what the heck everything means. So I am going to track or calculate your macros for you in your own personalized nutrition plan. So you really don't need to do this, but I wanted to just kind of break it down for you and show you how we're getting this. It's not just an online calculator. This is specialized and personalized just for you. So first we're going to start off with what macros are. Macros is short for macronutrients. So this is the protein, fats, and carbs. And I have a little lesson on each of the macronutrients and why it is important to have it in your diet. And then I'm also going to talk about in another video micronutrients. So this is not as well talked about. You always hear people saying, oh, how to track your macros, flexible dieting, if it fits your macros, and this is what they're talking about. So we're going to jump in. I have everything written on the board. Then I also have things in my notebook. Calculations are pre-done because I suck at math and my phone is being used to record this, so I don't have a calculator. So to get started, we're going to need to figure out a couple things here. So we have the BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate. So this is the calories you need to just live. So say you're just literally a couch potato, you're not moving, you're not burning any calories. We need to figure out what your body needs calorie-wise just for that. And then we're going to figure out your NREE, which is your non-resting energy expenditure. So this is when you're working out, you're hiking, whatever you're doing to burn calories. We need to figure out how much you need to eat compared to how much you're burning. So you add these up, your resting and then your non-resting, and that is going to equal your TD. So this is the total daily energy expenditure. So this is how many calories you are burning throughout the entire, day. If you're exercising, if you're resting, whatever you're doing, that is how many calories you're burning. And then we figure out how many you need to eat based on that. So I'm going to step on the side. We have a calculation here to figure out all of this. If you Google any of these or just Google an online calculator, it'll pop up for you, but it doesn't take a lot of things into consideration. So I'm showing you pretty much what the online calculators are doing, but we're tweaking everything to make it very specific for you. So here, you're going to take, I have it all written out and I'll put it on a caption for you too. You're going to take your weight, you're going to convert it to kilograms. So I weigh 140 pounds, and that's 63. So you're going to do 10 times 63 plus 6.25 times your height in centimeters. So converted, I'm 5'3", that's 160 centimeters, minus 5 times your age, minus 161. So my BMR, that's what we just calculated there, is 1,349 calories. Again, I am 5'3" and I weigh 140. So that's how many calories I should be consuming in my body when I'm not exercising, just to pretty much keep it running. So a lot of these calculators, you plug into MyFitnessPal or, people that just aren't really educated are gonna say, hey, eat 1,200 calories, you're gonna lose weight. Well, yeah, wouldn't you say I lose weight if I eat only 1,200 calories? Because I'm supposed to be eating 1,300 calories just to function properly, just to keep my hormones regulating properly and to have the energy throughout the day to do things. So we take that number and then you're going to times it by these numbers. So we have different sets. 1.2 would be your sedentary. You're not doing anything for exercise. So if you're a couch potato, you work at a desk all day and you're not exercising, then you would do 1.2. You would times it by that. 1.375 is, or 1.4 is if you're working out like 3 to 4 times a day or a week and you're getting pretty moderate exercise, which honestly, that's pretty much where everybody is at. So unless you are an athlete, you're on your feet all day, you're hitting like 10,000 steps or more a day and working out, then I would go to 1.55, and then it goes down to like 1.7, 1.9. But honestly, unless you're an athlete, which if you're an athlete, you're probably not taking my program, you don't need to do this. So I would stick with the 1.375. And then you're gonna times that by, I did 1.375, and that got me 1,980. So that is the total amount of calories I am burning per day if I'm working out the 3 times a week. I'm staying pretty active. So that is how many calories that I should be consuming. Not consuming, sorry. That is how many calories that I am burning. So this was how much that you should be consuming. That's just normal. And then this is how much you're burning. So for weight loss, you want to be in a caloric deficit. So I want to be eating less than 1,900 calories if I want to lose weight. If I want to gain weight or gain muscle, then I want to be eating more than 1,900 calories. And this is daily. If I'm just happy with where I'm at, I don't want to make any drastic changes, then I'm just going to eat 1,900 right on the dot, just every day. So a caloric deficit is going to be from anywhere to 200 to 500 calories. Of course, you can go lower than this, but I don't suggest, because again, I go to 500 calories, that's going to bring me at about 1,400 or so. Remember that my body is functioning well at 1,300. So if I go any lower than that, I'm going to be at pretty drastic levels of change. And that's when you're going to feel that exhaustion, you're going to burn out, your hormones aren't going to be regulating very well, and you don't want to maintain at a level that long. When I was in a bodybuilding competition, when you get like very shredded and like skinny, that's when I was underneath that, and that was not okay. Not for very long periods. So anyways, so now we're going to take this number and we're going to figure out your macros, how many calories you should be eating per day, and then break it down into those macronutrients. So when I do this, I like to take the average that you've been eating every day. So this is why I have you plug your food into MyFitnessPal and track it, because now we're going to take that average that you've been eating the last week, and then we're going to put this into play, and then we're going to figure out your calories. So I do it that way because I can say, all right, you want to be in a deficit, we're going to take 500 away from this, and that's what you're going to eat. But if I look at your MyFitnessPal and I see that you're struggling to eat 1,200 calories in a day, if we jump up to, 1,500 calories, that's a lot of calories to be consuming when you're struggling to eat 1,200 or whatever it is. So if we do that, one, you're going to be stuffing yourself. So you probably will gain some weight at first because you're not used to eating that much. And again, we want this to be a flexible lifestyle. So I don't want you sitting there being like, oh my gosh, I still have to eat like 400 calories and I'm not full. Like that is not what we're trying to do, or not hungry. You want to listen to your body and take it slow. So again, you're not going to make any drastic changes right away. We want this to be a slow pace, not a sprint, a slow marathon, because we're trying to build these everlasting habits to make a sustainable lifestyle. So we're gonna figure out the average. So say I'm eating about 1,500 calories a day, and that feels good for me. That's kind of pushing it, that's where I feel good. But I still want to lose weight. So I want to be underneath this, which 1,500 calories would totally be underneath that. But I do want to bring up my calories a little bit. So what we would do is find kind of the medium between that. So I'm going to say 1,700 calories a day, which is good. That's a little more than what I'm eating right now. So totally doable, and I'm still in that deficit. So I should still be losing weight. So we're going to go 1,700 calories. So now we got to break it down into protein, fats, and carbs. So with protein, I like to do 0.8. So 0.8 times 1 pound of body fat. So whatever, or pound of weight. So whatever you weigh, you're gonna add times it by that. I can't talk. So let's say 140. So that's gonna bring me at about 112. So 112 grams of protein a day out of that 1,700 calories. So protein and carbs have 4 calories per gram. So now we would times that by 4. So times by 4 equals 448 calories is a day from that 1,700 is going to my protein goal. So then you're gonna take your fat. So fat you want between like 20 to 35%, I believe. So we're gonna go with 30%. You don't wanna drop much lower than that because fat is very, very essential. You can read that in the fat section. But so we're gonna go with 30%, which we're gonna take 30% of 1,700, which would be, I think it was 510. So that would leave us with 510 calories that are going towards fat. So now fat is 9 grams per calorie. So we're gonna divide 9 by the 510 calories, which I found by doing 30% of 1,700, which is 510 calories. So divide that by 9 grams, which is gonna bring us to 56 grams of fat. So I found that by times 9 would be 510. So we want to be consuming 56 grams of fat per day. And now we take the leftover of these, so we add these two up together, which is 958 minus my total calories per day. And that's going to give us the carbs. So carbs minus that is 742 calories. So then we're going to divide that because carbohydrates is 4 calories per gram. So that is going to give us 185 grams of carbs. So times that by 4, and that would be the calories right there. So we've got 1,700 calories broken down into each category here. Protein is 112 times 4, which is the 480 calories. Fat is 56 grams times 9 is 510. 185 for carbs times 4 is the 742. So that adds up to the 1,700 calories a day. So then I would plug that into MyFitnessPal, and that is what I'm going to be aiming for every single day. So now you can scan in your food and figure out how to get to these goals. So I like to practice this for the first 2 weeks, see how things go. I always tell people, don't push it. If you're full, you're full. If you're hungry, eat more. So you're kind of figuring out what exactly these are going to be for you. These are not set in stone. They should be changing a lot. So if you find that you're only able to eat, 150 grams of carbs and more protein throughout your day, just normally trying to eat, then we're going to adjust these. We're going to move them around. It's all adjustable because, again, we want this to be a sustainable lifestyle for you. We're trying to figure out what works best for your body, for your goals. So these are totally flexible. We're going to be moving this around. Eventually, I would like to be up to higher calorie count because as I start working out more, my calories are going to go up more. And when we switch our goals around and stuff, everything's going to change. So that's the glory of macros. Everything is always changing and you can kind of just adapt and change to it. So for tracking in MyFitnessPal, you can watch read the description I have for that. But real quick, the best way to hit these goals is to plan ahead. So if you meal prep, then plan ahead, track everything into MyFitnessPal and be like, all right, so Monday, this is what I'm going to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then plug this in. And then you can look at it and be like, hey, look, I still have like 20 more carbs after I eat my meals or, whatever. And so you can be like, I'm going to squeeze in a cookie, or, I would really like to have a beer with my boyfriend on Friday night. So I'm going to squeeze that into my carbs. And you can really adjust it instead of going throughout your day and be like, oh, I ate this, track. And then at the end of the day, you're like, shit, you either went over or you didn't eat enough, which is everybody's problem, is that they're not eating enough. So when that happens, it's all of a sudden 8 o'clock at night and you're like, well, I didn't hit my protein goal, I need to eat that. So don't do that. Plan ahead. Try and get the closest you can to these numbers. If you can't, then we need to change something. So I hope this was helpful for you, and of course, ask any questions you ever have.